And if you have any questions, you can ask in the middle, but better to always ask at the end so that we can finish everything and then get to the questions. All right. So I'll start with this little quotation. So when I was helping President Obama, when President Obama got elected in 2008, first thing, one of the first things he did during the bad economy recession that was going on was he started Startup America, which ended up creating lots of entrepreneurs, lots of jobs, and people like me who were already entrepreneurs we went to different schools and colleges to inspire people, just like what I'm doing right now. We were doing back then also. And in one high school, they gave me this little plaque that says, "Can't spell entrepreneur? Be one and hire someone who can." And that's the easiest way you can explain entrepreneurship, because you don't have to be an expert, but what you have to do is get the right people involved. And it's the people that make your startup successful. And without the same right people, no matter how good a problem you're solving or how good idea you have, you will, you're not so likely to succeed without a good team. So it's always about what you know and what you don't know that, and find the right people to fix that. I've been a student entrepreneur from your age, winning competitions all over US and Canada. I've been mentored by millionaires and billionaires. So that way I got to learn very quickly from them what went right for them, what went wrong for them. So I could make my journey. I started at 19, and by the time I was 22, I already crossed million because of people like them. He's like at the time he was CEO of Motorola, Nokia, and companies like that, right? So again, won many competitions, and then with right after college, created a team. Like I said, people make everything. So here we have a CTO of Motorola, uh, former marketing professional from L'Oreal, VP of innovations for Wrigley. All these amazing people who have great credentials, had the beach house, had the big cars, all the things that people want, but they didn't have freedom. So their reason to join two teenagers in the middle, that's myself and Edward, was because they wanted freedom. They wanted to make an impact on people's lives. They wanted to see how a product they built makes people smile, right? And so that was the combination of us being having nothing but passion and PowerPoint, and they had everything, but they didn't have the passion and the freedom that a startup would give them. So together we have been able to build, many companies in India, in US, and Hong Kong. Kolkata Ventures being the last company. When I came to India, that's the first company we built, and it's been a great journey so far. There has been more than 400 revenue-generating startups. That we are in 3 countries. Two companies have already gone from idea to exit. That means they've started with zero, made money, crossed multi-million dollar valuations, and then somebody bought them out, right? So they already 2 exits have happened. 10 crores raised during the lockdown process itself. So that's fantastic. Our startups are getting funded while, during lockdown, because digital startups, VCs are also now on Zoom, and things are happening digitally. So Corona, you know, uh, has not been able to stop the digital economy. In fact, it's booming. And I cannot take all the credit, of course. There's an amazing team behind us at the Indo-US collaboration. My co-founder from IIT Kharagpur, Dr. David Pistrui, with 2 PhDs, one in entrepreneurship, one in sociology. He advises the government of Bahrain, the government of Austria, right? So Gary, so there's so many people from manufacturing, from technology, from advertising, food, you name it, we have it, right? So it's amazing mentors, people who have gone from zero to million plus, and those people are here to help us, right?
Means
Some of our successful startups have gone
चांगलं
from.
बघा व्हिडिओ एक चांगली व्हिडिओ आली आहे
Can you guys
मित्र
mute your mic, please? Thank you. Some of our successful startups that are doing around 5 lakhs or more, these have already gotten funded. I also teach at 6 IITs, 3 IIMs, and 2 US universities, including my own university. And why you should listen to me, why I should tell you about building a successful multi-million dollar startup, because I have done it, and there's some validation for it, right? All right, so let's start with this quotation. So when I'm in the middle of the night, I tweet sometimes with some inspiration. And here is one. It's better to die with memories than dreams. And when you're on your deathbed, it's better to think, I did this, I'm so glad, versus, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Regrets, right? So dreams are far worse than actually memories. So how do you start? It starts with the anatomy of change, because we have this the Gasapita mindset, Sharma ji ka beta, and all of that, right, is constantly brainwashed into us, drilled in our brain, as they say. So it starts with 3 Ds: disgust, decide, desire. That, you know what, enough of this nonsense, enough of this mediocrity, enough of the rat race. Let me start something. Let me resolve and create a compelling vision, a vision that keeps me up. It's a vision that's bigger than myself, right? So create something so compelling that it inspires you, whether it's about making India one of the top nations, whether it's about your community, whether it's your state, whether it's your family, making them proud, etc. Whatever that is, a compelling vision that's larger than just your personal goals, right? Act on it every day. Small victories, 3 things on your to-do list every day, right? You'll be amazed how much you accomplish in a week. You'll be amazed how much you accomplish in months. You'll be amazed how much you accomplish in a year. Small changes every day is sustainable. But what do we generally do? Today I heard a motivational speaker. I got a lot of josh, and I'm going to spend 4 or 5 hours on my startup, and the rest 5 days I'm not even going to touch it. It doesn't help. The power of compounding tells you that you've got to add little effort every day and over a period of time that has massive, massive results. But before you start that journey, you got to understand who you are. Most of us have 2 sides of the brain. All of us have 2 sides of the brain. Otherwise, we would be functioning. But anyway, the right brain people are more on the creative side. The left brain people are more on the analytical side. That means you're good with mathematics, accounting, and things like that, right? You're more logical. The right brain people are more creative, music, talent, people skills, etc. Like, think about Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs is a people person, charming. He can make people believe anything, do anything. Steve Wozniak, he's more the coder, the logical guy, sitting in a cubicle, shy from everyone. Tell him to build a computer, he will build it for you. Tell him to build software, he'll build it for you. Nobody knew Steve Wozniak till recently, right? Uh, and that's a great combination. Not everybody has to be the go-getter outside. Not everybody has to be the introvert inside, right? So I'm going to have you do an exercise. I want you guys to write down in 2 minutes, not too long exercise. I want you guys to write down on your phone 2 skills that you have that are better than your friends, and 2 things you're really passionate about. So passion could be sports, media, social media, uh, cars, politics, technology. 2 things you're passionate about. And skills, think about 2 things, like, for example, coding skills, uh, driving skills, or maybe design skills, right? These are skills with which you can actually create something, do something. So 2 skills and 2 things you're passionate about. I'm going to temporarily pause sharing my screen. And is there a way you guys can chat and share what you've written?
Yes, yes, chat is there. So people can use chat to write.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to see
The
the chat.
participants can write your 2 skills and 2 passion in the chat box. So it's public, so sir can have a look.
Because I don't want this to be a radio show. I want it to be interactive.
Yes, please mention your 2 skills and 2 passion.
Technology and newer things. By newer things, you probably mean like gadgets, probably. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay. You guys can keep writing, but the point is to actually do it rather than while I'm talking here on your WhatsApp, right? All right. So you get the point. Now, why am I making you do this exercise? Here's why. What happens? The passion that you just mentioned. When you start a business, you have to find a problem, and the problem you find is from the market that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about, let's say, cars, you find a problem in the transportation business. If you're passionate about uh, uh, movies, you find a problem in the movie industry. And then with your skills, you try to figure out how can I solve that problem? How can I build a product or service with that problem, with that skill? And then you realize I don't have all the skills. So you need to form a team, and that team will have skills that you don't have, and they have skills that they have skills that you don't have, and you have skills that they don't have. And together you're able to combine the two to build a business model. What is a business model? A business model describes all parts of the company necessary to make money. What is a startup? A startup is a temporary organization designed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model. So, what is a business model? It describes all parts of a business necessary to make money. And a startup is the search process. When you're searching for a repeatable and scalable business model, then you become a business. Before that, you're a startup. You're searching, what can I build that can be repeated in Ludhiana, in Chandigarh, in Delhi, in Calcutta, and Chennai, and it can be scaled across India, scaled globally, right? Repeatable, scalable business model. But you start with the problem. A problem is something that no one wants, but everyone has to face it, and no one can avoid it. So back in the days, people like Reliance or Adani, Ambani, all these Birla, they would make things that people, and they would throw money at TV ads and hope to God people buy them, right? Before social media, that's how things were made. For the longest time, they were only black and white ambassadors. Ambassadors had only two colors. The one car ambassador India made, and only two colors, black and white, maybe red in some cases, right? But then came Maruti, and then things started changing, and then came social media, and things started changing more. And today, how it is, making things people want. We first ask, we do market research, we figure out what is the problem that people are facing, and we build something that people want. And that's how evolution has happened, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but you do market research in the ideation process. You ask questions, you go on marketresearch.com, that's primary market research, secondary market research, and you come up with some prototype. You get some feedback, right? But more importantly, understand very clearly in short 30 words, 35 words, you have to write down what problem you're solving. I'm not going to make you do it right now. Don't worry. I don't have time for that. We have only 40 minutes. But when I do like 6-hour workshops, I spend at least half an hour where people write down the problem statement in 30 words or less. And trust me, it's hard. You can write a problem for a very long time. When it's 30 minutes and 30 words, it is very difficult, right? Less words, you really need to know what you're doing. Only then you can summarize things in less words. And then one line solution. XYZ LLC helps dash to dash by dash. Like in our case, although we do different things from entrepreneurship education to funding to startup resources to a lot of different things, but still, when it comes to one line, Kolkata Ventures helps entrepreneurs to growth hack their businesses by using lean startup methodology. Simple, plain and simple. Taking out the most highlighted feature and sharing that in one line. Kolkata Ventures helps entrepreneurs to growth hack their business by using lean startup methodology. So every business has this one-liner, and if you know this one-liner, it helps you break the ice in a networking event. When you meet an investor, it helps you break the ice with the investor. It helps you with your pitch deck when you're raising money, right? So it's a very powerful tool to know how to in one line tell people what is your startup all about, What do you do? How do you benefit others? And as you go through the process, you build, you measure, you learn. You build your product, you measure your product, you learn, and you fail fast, you succeed fast. Initially, people might not want what you built, but they'll say, oh, there's one thing I like about it. And like that, you keep growing the things they like and reducing the things they don't like by iteratively building, testing, and learning, building, testing, and learning till you come to the point where you have a unique bragging proposition, not unique selling proposition. If you ask any MBA, they will know what is USP. That means what differentiates you from other companies. So let's say there are so many phone companies. What differentiates Apple from other phone companies? Okay, in Apple's case, nice designs, better camera, whatnot. But what is the bragging factor? Unique bragging proposition. The bragging proposition is it's cost so much money. I'm joking. But the point is, there is a design factor, there is a community spirit, there is a whole cult about Apple that, okay, if I have Apple phone, that means I care about design. I care about, of course, it's not design friendly anymore. I don't like Apple anymore. I still am stuck in the process. I'm like Apple everywhere. But the point of Apple used to be, the bragging factor used to be it makes you feel that you're part of an elite group of people. You care about design, Steve Jobs cult, all of that. And like, we are special. That's what Steve Jobs built, really. Is when they never give discounts. Every company gives discount on Black Friday. What does Apple do? Apple says, okay, on Black Friday you can inscribe your name, phone or laptop. We will inscribe for free. So they're doing value added, not discounted, right? So Apple always maintains that standard that we don't give discount because we are not cheap and we are not for cheap people, right? So unique bragging proposition. Even when the first iPod came out, imagine the brain of Steve Jobs. Now you're paying a lot of money. Now at that time there was Zune, there were all these other MP3 players, but the iPod, Steve Jobs says 1,000 songs in your pocket. People don't understand 1 GB, 2 GB, what that means. Steve Jobs, very simple, 1,000 songs in your pocket. And because you're paying a lot of money for it, how would it work if you cannot show off? So here are white headphones for you. So when you wear white headphones, but everybody else has black headphones. You have white headphones, people know you have 1,000 songs in your pocket. You have an Apple product, and that's how the iPod. People see other people and they want to buy it, right? And like that, Steve Jobs was marketing their product in buses and trains and public transports and airports, just with white headphones. Brilliant guy. It's a unique bragging proposition. Make your customers brag about your product. Truecaller is another example, right? Truecaller, if you look at it, they didn't do advertising to grow this much. What did they do? Okay, they put product is that like that. People are like, hey, give me a number, I'll give you the name. Really? How? Truecaller. Download the app. Or Dropbox. Dropbox was like, how do we grow? And they were like, let's make our customers into our marketers. So if you refer a friend, you get 500 megabytes and your friend gets 500 megabytes. All the people went on social media. Hey, download Dropbox, download Dropbox. In 2 years, Dropbox became a multi-billion dollar company. Actually $10 billion plus in 2 years. So the important thing is to build a scalable business model. A business model where the same effort will lead to exponential yield. Because Warren Buffett says, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. So the scalable business model looks like this. The cost of your business grows linearly as more people join in. And you see more people, more connections. When there's 2 connections, 3, 4, 5, like that, as people come in, value grows exponentially. And as the value grows exponentially, you're still in the losses, but you don't know when you're close to critical mass. It takes time. Most people give up here, and here because they're like, "Bhai, I'm doing so much. I'm still not profitable. It's still not working. No investors are coming in. Screw it. Let's go get a job." But beyond the critical mass is where is exponential growth, and that's why your exponential growth has crossed your the rate of increase of your cost. that's when you are really growing. And that's when you really, everybody knows you're part of the bell curve in the middle, right? And that's a scalable business. Now, most people give up, and that's why startups fail so much because they don't realize how close, because they don't measure. So you build, you measure, you learn. If you don't measure your progress, you will never know how far you are from critical mass, and you will give up eventually, right? So let's make it simple for you. Scalability. Let's think, okay, in 12 months, I want to make $1 million. What does that mean? That means you need 5,000 people to buy a $200 product, or 500 people to buy a $2,000 product, or make it even smaller. 500 people pay $157 a month for 12 months. So if you can break it down into 12 months, you can also break it down into 30 days. And then you can figure out your Facebook budget, your Google budget, you figure out your offline marketing budget. And then you know that I need 5,000 people to pay a small amount of money, or 500 people to pay a large amount of money for 12 months. And then I will reach my $1 million goal. It doesn't look as impossible as it looked before. That's great. And it could be 10 million, it could be a billion, whatever you want it to be. But break it down. It could be 12 months, it could be 5 years. That in 5 years, I'll be a $1 billion company. Okay, sure. Break it down. Have a plan. Execute every day. Execute every hour, right? Then you realize you cannot sleep off for an hour. You have to really, really focus on your growth. You need a team. All these people you will need, you find them on LinkedIn, you find them on AngelList, F6X, etc. Right? You need a team to grow. Your co-founders, your executive team, board of advisors are powerful because you might be a student. But if you have gray-haired people on your board of advisors, then others will trust you. Like, okay, these guys are trusted by great industry leaders or professors. Okay, that makes sense. So these must be very good entrepreneurs, right? Because big people are giving their name. Just like Amitabh Bachchan when he says, "Here, buy this phone or buy this hair oil," right? People are like, "Okay, Amitabh Bachchan is saying it must be good." So similarly, it's a brand endorsement of board of advisors. Interns are great, although you guys are all intern age, but still interns are great. Low skill, high will. They do good research. They do good grunt work. So great way to get interns. Investors, obviously, you don't go to investors on day one. There's time for investors. You first execute. You show investor that without your money, I could come here. Imagine what I could do with your money, and bring them on board. Two kinds of businesses: product, service. Product business is a little difficult. Seed funding or crowdfunding. Go online and search crowdfunding. It's a great way to get funded, where other people, lots and lots of people give you $500, $5, $10, and accordingly you build your, raise the money that you want to raise. One of my mentees raised $300,000. She just wanted $10,000 on Kickstarter.com, and she ended up raising $300,000 because the product was very simple. It's basically a little plastic cup for the iPhone, so that you can get better sound quality on your phone. When you cup your hand around the phone, it sounds better because the speakers are down. And she just showed a video with a Starbucks coffee cup lid. Like, if you give me money, I'll go to China and build this product. And people give her $300,000, right? Crowdfunding, very powerful. Build, test, learn. With your prototyping, you will always come up with issues with manufacturing and prototyping and all that, till you have a better product, and then you go for Series A funding. With that, launch your product, get marketing, distribution, and sales. So still today, 10% is on Amazon. 90% of the products are sold through brick and mortar stores, right? You need distributors. One distributor can get it into 100 stores, 200 stores, 300 stores, right? That's what. Now, service is very easy. Just get started. LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. That's where your customers are hiding. Go do hashtag research, pay for ads, and get those customers to join you. Test one variable at a time. As you grow, that means don't change things too often. Change one thing at a time and see if people react well to it. Management and accounting. Give people, hire the right people and distribute the workload. Let them manage parts of the business. and make sure you're compliant. Make sure your GST, TDS, all of these things are compliant. Have a good accounting team. And eventually, after social media is extinguished, you'll be like, I need sales calls, cold callers. Like Byju's, they have around 2,500 telecallers, right? Sitting in Noida and other places in the country, selling constantly, 2,500 telecallers. It's a lot of telecallers. So you might need sales push. Now, not everybody needs a telecaller. Google doesn't have telecallers as much. I mean, they have it for the top-notch clients, but they're a global company. How many telecallers can they have? So they have made it more automated. So different companies, different business models. Of all of these, you start with the MVP, minimum viable product. Market research, like you saw initially, primary and secondary market research. You translate that research into your product service offering. You prioritize what are the top things I want to build. Like, again, I go back to iPhone. When iPhone came out, it had only 3 buttons. And the smartphone before the iPhone, whether it's Nokia or BlackBerry, had literally 25 to 30 buttons, right? Each one of them. It would take a person 3 weeks to figure out how to use a phone. With the iPhone, even a grandmother could figure out how to use it. And a 4-year-old could also use iPhone. So prioritize the minimum viable features. Having too many things is not good. Give people only the highlighted things that are the best sellers, right? Create a prototype, get feedback, and answer these questions. Who is your customer? What kind of product do they actually want? How do you build a sustainable business around it? Get a mentor. Get somebody who has been there and who has been where you are right now and who is where you want to be. I've been fortunate to have that kind of mentors. It always 5-minute phone calls have saved me 5 months of searching and figuring out, reinventing the wheel. 5-minute phone calls with your mentors, half an hour mentorship, and so much help, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Start now. Don't wait for later. Do it now. No excuses. You'll always have excuses. I have exams, I have projects, kisi ki shaadi hai, this, that. Please do it now. No excuses. Your startup's not going to wait for anybody else. Somebody else will do it if you don't do it. Make it a habit to win. Every day, 2 to 3 things on your phone, write down that takes you towards your $1 million goal or $1 billion goal towards your startup. Empower your dream with a deadline. Don't just think one day I will become something. Figure out what that date is and back calculate how you can work towards that deadline every day, day by day. I'll end with this. This is my understanding after 8 businesses in multiple countries. One thing I've learned is think big, very big, start small. Fix it, really figure out as you're small. And then grow slow, make your mistakes, but don't repeat the mistakes. Then grow really, really fast. That's where investors come in, venture capital comes in, take their money and grow massively because others starts copying you at this point, and you want to take market share, advertise, market as much as you can. If you need any help, you can go to kolkataventures.com/startup resources. We are a virtual incubation. You can get virtually incubated by us. You can get mentored by me. You can get lawyers, accountants, digital marketers, designers, product developers, app, website developers, whatever you need. We provide everything. So kolkataventures.com/startup resources, or just WhatsApp that number in front of you. And we'll be happy to help you any way we can. And I have some gifts for you as well. I have around 200 plus videos on startup that I've built with whatever I know from my experience and from my mentors that has helped me become successful. I put them, not only me become successful, but also 412 revenue generating startups from Kolkata Ventures. They're all on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Avelo Roy. You can go there and watch all these wonderful videos. They're only 1 or 2 minutes long, but watch them over and over again, and you'll realize I have packed an hour into a minute, right? That's how I work. I talk less, but I give a lot, just like this presentation. I give you a lot. You're probably thinking so much went above my head. But trust me, when you start the startup journey, you'll realize, oh, this is what he meant. Oh, because that's when your brain will unpack my presentation to your head. That's how it works. I get feedback all the time from people. Sir, 2 years ago, I didn't understand what you said, but today I get it. this is how it works, right? And if you have any questions, as an elder brother, I'm always there for you. You can reach out to me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm the only one with this name, Avelo Roy. You can find me anywhere on any social media platform, or just Google me, Avelo Roy, Aveloroy, and you'll find me. Any way I can help you, any way I can connect you with anyone, I'll be happy to do that. And if you need internships or whatever, that is also something I'm always looking to hire. Good, smart, well-spoken, well-written interns. All right, I'll stop sharing my screen now and see if you guys have any questions.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for a very phenomenal session. So now the session is open for questions. So I request our participants, if they have any doubts, so they can directly interact with sir by unmuting themselves, or they can post their question in the chat box window. Yes, sir. For now, we don't have any question in the chat box window. Yeah, so there is one question which recently popped up. So that's from Rohit. So he's asking, what are do's and don'ts before getting any funding from investors?
Don't go to an investor like a beggar. Go to an investor like an entrepreneur. And the way you do that is by having leverage to negotiate. How do you negotiate? Where investor will be like, well, I can do it faster than you. And what would be your answer? So you need to have some competitive advantage. That means, for example, you have a team already in place. You already have built a prototype. You already have some users, some customers, some traction. So the investor is like, okay, this guy is not just waiting for me. He will do it anyway, whether I invest or somebody else invests. So your leverage and negotiation is, you try doing it. It'll take you 10 months. I've already done the hard work. I've already gotten the great team. I've already built the hard part. I've done the market research. I'm already having people interested to buy my product. It's just I need a little bit of help. I'm not depending on you. I want you as my partner. So together we can grow something much larger than what individually we can do. So see your investor as a partner and see it as an opportunity to negotiate, not in a rude way, but as you would do with a friend, as you would do with a partner, right? And that's where the investor is also interested that, yes, this is a good entrepreneur who values himself. So I value him. And that's the valuation your goes up, right? I'm simplifying it, obviously, but the point is, don't go to investor with the idea. This is what the mantra that I give. Start with zero money, grow with your customers money, and scale with investor money. When you're scaling your business, you want to grow massively. That's when you go to investors. Initially, you can have friends, family helping you out. You can go crowdfunding to help you out. You can get government grants from Atal Incubation Centers, Atal Tinkering Labs. There's a lot of grants available, Startup India, Stand Up India loans. All of that is available. So build something first, then go to an investor. Okay.
Okay, so going to our next question from Jagriti. So she's asking, what actually a person needs to be an entrepreneur?
My first slide, if you remember.
Yes, sir.
Don't spell entrepreneur, be one and hire someone who can. So figure out what you can do and know that there's everything else somebody else can do. Right?
Okay.
Once you understand your strength. Now, another thing about entrepreneurship is you have to have a very thick skin. That means you'll have to go through a lot of rejections from investors. You have to go through your family rejecting you, your after getting a nice education. Your friends will laugh at you. They will buy their first car and first house while you're still struggling to build your startup, right? So you have to be immune. You have to be perseverant to all of these things, and because it's a tough journey. If you think quitting college and getting a startup, trust me, startup is far more tougher than college. If you think quitting a job, starting a startup because you want to escape is not the reason to start a startup. The reason to start a startup is something much bigger. Is to do something where rejections won't stop you from quitting. You will actually do. You won't quit. That's a very important rule. As long as that is clear, you have high skill, high intelligence, and perseverance, you should be able to get the right people on board and keep going.
Okay, so going to our next question from Pradeep. So what one can initially do when he has only idea for startup in his hand? It's not much
Go
clear.
on
Yeah.
google.com. Go on
Okay.
google.com and start researching. Is it really worth it? How many patents are there on this? What are people saying on Quora? What kind of articles are being written on media and what other places, right? So just see the buzz around that idea or that problem that you. I don't like the word idea because idea everybody has. When you solve a problem, that's the right way to think scientifically about starting a startup, right? So once you go on Google, then you know that I need some skills. Go on YouTube and learn how to build WordPress. So build something, don't build an app, build a website and just start doing 100 rupee Facebook ads every day. Little bit of money, right? And just see in the Facebook insights, you will get to see who are the age groups who are reacting to your ads, who are the people interested in your product. That's a great way to market research. Once you do that and you understand there is some need for it, there's some validation, then you start working on your startup. Then you come to places like Kolkata Ventures or your startup incubator in your university. I'm sure you have one, and they will help you through, with the process.
Okay, sir. So going to our next question from Rupali. So while investing at an early age of your job journey, so might be difficult for us to take risk. So what will you suggest like us how to make our journey risk-free and achieve our targets?
When you see that Ferrari or the Rolls Royce, sometimes it is handed down by daddy. Sometimes it is as a result of the risk that you've taken. So if you want a risk-free situation, go get a government job. Startup is definitely not risk-free. Startup, the reason why you make that profit, if any of you have studied economics, it's the opportunity cost for the risk that you've taken. That's why you make the 300, 400, 500% profit, right? So it's not risk-free. Let me tell you something. But what do you got to lose anyway at the early stage of your life? You're not married. You don't have responsibilities. You don't have kids. It's difficult. It's more risky for a 40-year-old to start a startup. But a young person, tell your parents, I want 2 years of my life. I want to experiment with my life. And I want to do something amazing with my life. If I'm not able to do it in 2 years, fine. But let me try at least, right? And do it. You're an adult. What do you got to lose? So don't. If you have that mindset that it should be everything should work out your way, trust me, that's not how. That's not the reason to go for a startup. You should be ready to burn yourself. People on the Jammu Kashmir border or India-China border, those soldiers are not thinking risk-free. So entrepreneurs are soldiers. We are here to change our country. We are here to revolutionize our industries, and that means we will get some scratches. It's not risk-free. But again, it is in the sense that it's worth the risk because after that, if you fail, let's say you fail, you go for a job, they ask you, what have you done? What's your experience? And you say, I have built a startup and I failed. Trust me, they will be like, wow, you built a startup. Everybody else has done internships and projects. You have built a startup. You are out of the box thinker. You know law, sales, marketing, product development, right? You are a guy who everybody will jump after. One of the people I started my startup with, Brandon Lloyd. Brandon was wanted to go to NASA. He wanted to work for NASA. He didn't want to be an entrepreneur. But during my college days, he helped me for a year with my startup when I was building it up. When NASA came to my university to hire people, they shortlisted 4 people. 3 people had a perfect 4.0 GPA. Brandon had a 2.3 or 2 point something GPA. Guess who got the job from NASA? Brandon did. Why? Because all those guys with the 4.0 GPA knew their subjects. Brandon knew reality. He knew adaptability. Until date, Brandon is working in NASA, and the last space shuttle that was launched, Brandon had a very important role to play with that, right? So understand that you have no loss when you start a startup. The experience will make you more job worthy. Don't get scared about risks.
Okay, so next question is from Jagriti. Sir, how did you get inspired to start Kolkata Ventures? So your story.
Very nice question, Jagriti. So my first week in India, I was here. Some local college figured out that I'm in town, and they said, "Sir, please come. We are having a business plan competition, and we want you to be the judge." So I was very happy because I've never seen Indian entrepreneurs. Because when I was starting my startup, it was not a known thing in India. Startups was not a thing. So in 2016, when I came back, it was just coming up. And so I went to that business plan competition. And the 2 people who were co-judging with me, they were also investors. And I tell you, Jagriti, the way they were bullying these entrepreneurs, it brought tears to my eyes. Because these entrepreneurs didn't know anything about investment or whatnot. They had a PowerPoint. They were not from business families. And they were trying their best to start that idea. And these other two people were bullying them, saying, oh, you're nonsense. You don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. So I said, look, I'm going to help you. And I need a way to help you guys. So that evening, I bought the domain kolkataventures.com. And then I started meeting with all the ecosystem players. And I realized all of them are consultants. None of them have built a startup. I said, okay, I will build Kolkata Ventures, which will be entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. I pulled in my friends from US, from Hong Kong, and some from India, and we built Kolkata Ventures, where only entrepreneurs who've gone from $0 to $1 million help future millionaires, right? And that's been our motto, and we have been successful as a result.
Okay, so next question is from Abridhi. So he's asking that as a PhD scholar, having top-notch academic acumen in a specific domain, how can one individual go for a startup and business and all without having a business degree like MBA? So how can we compete?
I don't have a business degree, my dear friend. And you know what? I teach at the top-notch business schools, IIMs and Northwestern University. So MBA level is where I teach, and I don't have anything. When they say jargons at me, I have no idea what they're saying because I have not taken MBA, but I know what they are from real life experience. So the fact that you're a PhD and you're a subject matter expert in a certain domain, come up with something, commercialize your patent if you have intellectual property. And again, I'm there to mentor you. I'm happy to help you through it. But the point is, you get started. That's the hardest part. Get started. All the things I mentioned in my PowerPoint, build your prototype, get to market, get government grants, build, test, learn, and get your first 100 rupees. If you can get your first 100 rupees, great achievement. The $1 million is not too far away, right? But getting the first money is the difficult part. So just get started. I'm there for you. If you connect with me, any way I can help, I'm there for you.
Okay, next question is from Aryan, and probably the last question. So how do you seek an excellent team before starting any startup?
See, you don't, it's very difficult. This is the hardest part of the startup is finding the right team, right? Now, you don't do it before the startup. You can try, but what it takes so much long. So it goes parallelly. As you're building the startup, you're the founder, you are looking for a co-founder. Just like, finding a date on Tinder, right, left, right, left, right, left, and finally somebody you like, but then of them, you meet only one person. So similarly, it's like you go through the process of finding the right person. So that means they should have the skills that you don't have. They should also match with you in chemistry because you'll be spending 8 to 10 hours a day with them, right? So it's a parallel process. You reach out to as many networks, LinkedIn and other places, and then you find complementary skills, and the chemistry should be there, and they should have the same goal as you. They shouldn't be just like, oh, I'm here for the resume building. I just want to stay on LinkedIn and get out of here. They should be there to actually build the vision that you also want to build the vision, and for the long-term goal, and pull them in slowly, and then build. As you see progress with your startup, as you win competitions, as more recognition comes, you'll attract more people will reach out, and they can become your founders and co-founders, right? All right. Thank you very much. All of you have been amazing questions, and thank you
Yeah.
nicely
Thank
for
you. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for your insightful session. Yes,
all right.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you all participants. Take care.
All the best.
Thank you.